from our Universal Radio studios. Celebrities from TV, music, movies, literature, politics, and show business. At one time or another, they all come to the Ron Sedgy Show. So why don't you?
You can try fighting the law all you want, but the law is always going to win. From politicians and celebrities to sports figures and business leaders, they're fighting the law. Now, here to sort out the nation's top legal news stories is America's favorite legal analyst, Royal Oakes. This is the Royal Oakes Show.
Robbing people with a 6-gun. I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the
Thank you, Mike Horn, and welcome to the Royal Oak Show, and welcome to our co-host, Ken Jeffries. How you doing, Ken?
Hi there. Doing okay.
Good.
What a week, as usual.
A big one. Our millennial correspondent, Connor Oakes, is at an undisclosed location. It's possible he will join us by phone, but we're not sure of that, so Ken and I are going to muddle through
Can
without
I just say
him.
the big story seems to be that thing, that growth on your head?
Yeah.
If those are watching on television.
One of my daughters gave me this for Christmas, and I thought it looked so good when I looked in the mirror that I figured, well, it would look good on the podcast as well.
It's a beret. So if those are listening,
I have
looks good.
to confess to the audience that when Ken saw this, when we were off the air, he immediately said, "Oh, like Maurice Chevalier," and I just wanted you to appreciate. Ken, that 1/100th of 1% of the audience would have any idea who Maurice Chevalier is.
Little girls.
So it's
Although
good
he couldn't get away with that today.
He absolutely couldn't. The Me Too movement would be all over that. So it's good that you didn't bring it up, but I felt that for the 1/100th of 1% of the audience that appreciates
Maurice Chevalier.
And of course, roughly the same percentage actually lived through and really appreciates Laurel and Hardy. So my wife Lauren absolutely refused. No, we're not going to see the Laurel and Hardy movie. No, Stan and Ollie is out. And I'm telling her, oh, gee, honey, we really should try it. I loved it when I was a kid and a teenager. It was wonderful. I mean, Abbott and Costello were okay, and the other double acts and so on. But Laurel and Hardy, they were primo. I mean, they made the transition from the silence to the talkies, and they were just wonderful. But not everybody's cup of tea. So what I did was I hit Lauren with 3 successive newspaper reviews of the movie. And finally, the last one from the New York Times, like 2 days ago, was so laudatory that she finally said, okay, we saw it last night. She liked it, especially the second half. And I agreed with her. The first third was a little slow, but man, if you haven't seen it, you haven't seen it yet. It's really good. These guys, I mean, it reminded me of the Bohemian Rhapsody thing, that actor whose name I can never remember. Freddie Mercury, Rahm Emanuel. Yes, Rahm Emanuel. Rahm Emanuel is Freddie Mercury. It was incredible, or whoever the guy is.
Mayor of Chicago at the same time.
So I would recommend everybody running out and don't trip. Just go see Stan and Ollie. It's excellent.
Yeah, my one regret is that my friend, the late Chuck McCann, wasn't alive to see it.
Did he play Oliver Hardy?
Yeah, he played Oliver Hardy, made a living doing it, especially in New York, as a kiddie show host on WPIX 11.
Did he have Stan Laurel sidekick?
There was a gentleman, yes, an actor named Jim McGeorge, who I also met. They were honored, I think, at the Pacific Pioneer Broadcasters a couple of years ago and all of that. And so, but in any event, I heard these guys, John C. Reilly and the other gentleman who I can't remember who it is, did a great job.
Steve Coogan. Yeah, Steve Coogan is marvelous. Well, if you see the road trip movies, Steve Coogan and another British impressionist / comic actor whose name I can't remember do a marvelous job. And of course, they do all the standard British voices, the Michael Caines and the Sean Connerys and the Hugh Grants and so on. But they do them so well. And there's something about road trip buddy movies, whether it's Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with Steve Martin and John Candy, whether it's Midnight Run with Robert De Niro and Charles Grodin.
Bob Hope and Bing Crosby.
Well, of course, they invented the genre. They perfected it. And, those guys...
Thelma and Louise.
Thelma and Louise.
Female version.
Kind of an unhappy ending with Thelma and Louise. Oh, over the cliff.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, when you think about the chemistry, and there's just something about a friendship and you know, the travails of the road. It's just marvelous entertainment. So yeah, I'd recommend people go out and see it. We want to talk about our top stories. First of all, there's the shutdown business, maybe for a year. Really interesting that Trump would say, yeah, we'll do it for a year. Now, I get that he's the master of the deal. And if you're trying to make a deal, I can tell you from my personal experience of being in maybe 500 mediations of lawsuits over the last 40 years, the key is you have to convey confidence. The winner in the negotiation is the one who really sincerely conveys the idea that they are least afraid of not doing a deal and just going ahead and fighting, whether it's a trial or whatever. And I think Trump has learned that. He knows that if you come across like, oh, gee, I hope we do a deal because we really need a deal, you're going to lose. So his theory is, and it usually is right, you project the confidence and you say, I don't care if it takes a year to break down. He wants the Democrats to go back and say, oh, my gosh, Trump doesn't well, okay, we'll offer him $3 billion.
Yeah, but he's also wavering on what it is. It's not a concrete wall. It's a slat. It's a,
yeah, there's that. There's that. But basically, it's $5 billion for his number, or like $0 or $500 million for the Democrats. The problem I see is the Democrats know traditionally the Republicans get blamed for the shutdown, and I think the public opinion polls so far are showing that, yes, here, Trump is getting blamed. In fact, he said, I take on the mantle of the blame. I'm trying to do Nixon as Trump.
Yeah, Nixon as Trump.
But so the bottom line is, I think it's very risky for Trump and the Republicans, because if it does go a month or two or three, you can bet there are going to be some stories about Grandma Bertha in Biloxi dying because she didn't get her welfare check. There are going to be injuries and deaths because of the shutdown, and it's going to be blamed on Trump, and the Democrats are just rubbing their hands in glee because the longer it goes on, the more I think you're going to see these kinds of stories.
And you have, what is it, 800,000 federal employees, that's what I read, I presume that number's true, who are directly affected, who can't pay the mortgage if they live paycheck to paycheck. They can't do this, they can't do that. Now you have the TSA workers who are calling in sick. Right. That's a brand new thing. And it hasn't affected, I just heard a headline on the way in here that it hasn't affected LAX yet, but it has affected New York, I think, and some of the other maybe some of the other big airports, and then what? Yeah,
well, I think what happens is that we have to find out who blinks, and as I've been fond of saying lately, in a contest of who's going to blink, Donald Trump or Nancy Pelosi, well, Nancy can't blink. And people object to that joke.
Yeah,
because that's plastic surgery shaming.
That's almost like a thank heaven as the Marie Chevalier.
I don't think it's quite in that league. But I mean, the difficulty we have, I think, it goes to the whole basic idea of immigration, illegal immigration. Trump is basing his whole presidency on it. His prospects for re-election. I think he knows he got elected because of immigration, about the anger by so many Americans against people invading and taking over their country. And so that's what it's boiling down to. Whereas if you go to the left, Nancy Pelosi and Schumer and the rest of them are total hypocrites, because in the 1990s, when the labor unions had them by the throat and said, you take a stand against these freaking illegals, okay, because they're taking away our boys' jobs, then on the Senate and House floor, there was Schumer and Pelosi railing against illegal immigration and talking about a wall. It's all different now. Now they've figured out the calculus is different. And I don't know if you're a fan of Dinesh D'Souza and the movies and the books he does.
I kind of know.
The convicted felon.
I know a little bit about him, but enough to be,
skeptical of him?
Well,
he's very right wing. He's super conservative.
That's what I understand.
Yeah. So here's the deal. If you haven't seen his documentaries about Hillary and so on, it's worth a look, because even if you disagree with him, he is a very rigorous thinker and debater. He reminds me of a really good lawyer who is brilliant at taking the other side's argument and not poo-pooing it and saying, oh, their argument's just full of crap. The best lawyers, in my experience that I've seen, what they do is they actually puff up the other side's argument. They present it in the most persuasive way possible so that the judge, the decider, knows we're not trying to play a game here and pretend like the other side's argument is weak. No, a really good lawyer presents the other side in the most compelling way possible. And then, if he can, he slams it. He just, crushes it to smithereens. That's what the super lawyers do, the David Boies type lawyers. That's what Dinesh D'Souza does in his political stuff. In his books and his movies, he presents the progressive, left-wing, socialist view, and then he really does a very effective job of slamming it. And one of the points he's made, the reason I was talking about him, is that he points out that the Democrat/progressive approach to immigration is to say, there is a blurry line between illegals and legals. And the reason they want to blur the line, which is idiotic, because they don't believe in open borders. If you, hook Nancy up to the lie detector machine, she wouldn't say, I believe in open borders. She does believe in rules, and so there's a distinction between illegals and legals. But she won't admit it, because she wants the legal immigrants, the Latino voters in the United States, to think the Republicans hate both legals and illegals, so she blurs them together. So that's why she says the wall is an immorality, which is idiotic, because a wall is no more an immorality than a dotted line border on the map, or a border patrolman.
Optics and symbolism.
Yeah, exactly right. And so that's the game she is playing. So the shutdown, who knows what's going to happen? We have to wait and see who blinks. Maybe it'll be a blinking contest between Schumer and Trump. That would be fairer. Let's go to another big story, and that's one that you have a personal interest in because of your wife's involvement with the L.A. Unified School District.
My wife's a school nurse, and she's been a school nurse since 1982, I think it is. And the LA Unified School District, the teachers union, United Teachers Los Angeles, which is UTLA, as opposed to UCLA, the school. I want it for people who don't live in Los Angeles.
These are not Bruins. These are teachers.
No, they're not Bruins at all. There's United Teachers Los Angeles. They are poised to go on strike this Thursday. In fact, a film crew from Vice TV, from the HBO series, is following my wife around. They did an interview with her the other day, and it's supposed to air, I think, on Thursday, which is the projected first day of the strike.
It's such a good show, and that's going to be great to see Stephanie on there giving her take on the strike.
On HBO. Now, right, and so that's what's supposed to happen there. They do have a bargaining session set for the union's meeting right now as we speak, as a matter of fact, as we do this show. But they also will have one more negotiating session set for Monday, which I guess anything can happen, but likely there'll be a strike.
Well, you say it's local, but we were chatting off the air about the fact that the Wall Street Journal this morning has on their op-ed page a big article about the Los Angeles strike. So it's got national implications, and I actually wanted to walk through the elements of it and get your take on it. The author of this, it's a guy who is part of the Wall Street Journal editorial board, so it's really the journal's position. But he's taking kind of actually it's a lady, Alicia Finley is her name, taking kind of a dubious view of the strike. So let's walk through a couple of these elements. 33,000 members of the United Teachers of Los Angeles plan to go on strike on the 10th, so that'd be sometime next week.
Right, that also includes nurses, librarians, and like that. They're also members of the union.
So the argument is that the district is trying to stop all the red ink and avert a state takeover. And I didn't realize till recently that there could be a California state takeover of the district if things are really dire financially for the district.
Right. However, the union maintains the district has a $1.9 billion with a B, dollar reserve that they can use regarding the raises, regarding staffing, hiring more nurses and lowering the class size. And that's what the union wants. They want especially, they don't say the salary so much, that's not really much of a bargaining chip for them, but it's the hiring of more nurses and librarians and counselors and lowering the class, and then hiring more personnel to lower class size. And that's, from what my understanding is, that's the union's position.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So let's walk through some of the comments about the Journal. They say that the union's trying to arrest a decade-long decline in membership. I didn't know that there were fewer members in the teachers union in L.A. And then you've got this Janus ruling last summer by the United States Supreme Court, barring governments from forcing donations by non-members of the union to subsidize collective bargaining and union political activities. So the bottom line is the unions are struggling because they're trying to find new sources of revenue to compensate for lost agency fees. So a couple of years ago, school reformers and charter advocates captured a majority on the LA Unified School District Board. So they hired Austin Butner, a former investment banker, and he was a publisher of the LA Times, to turn the district around. When we come back, we'll talk about whether he's been able to do that and what the strike really means. Stay with us on The Royal Oak Show.
We'll be back on CRN with The Royal Oak Show.
Were you scammed into signing a timeshare contract? And did you miss the part that said you have to pay for your great idea? Not only for the rest of your life, but when you're not here anymore, you get to pass this turkey onto your family for them to pay for the rest of their lives. Thanks, Dad. Don't burden your family down the road, and don't be stuck with expensive timeshare payments forever. Get out of your bad idea timeshare contract guaranteed, or pay nothing. Call Resort Release today and learn for free how their timeshare exit team can help you legally exit your timeshare contract. They've helped thousands of people, and they're A+ rated with a BBB. So if you feel scammed, get mad and get out of your expensive timeshare contract right now, guaranteed. Call NOW.
800-716-9903. 800-716-9903. 800-716-9903. That's 800-716-9903.
The smartest way for you to get the lowest prices on your plane tickets, domestic or international, is to call SmartFares first or last, but you've got to call us before you book your plane tickets. Fly anywhere in the world, fly anywhere in the U.S., and SmartFares can save you up to 75% on your plane tickets. We have the lowest airline ticket prices on over 500 airlines, and you've got a great 12-hour free cancellation window. Plus, with our live agent help, you can always get fast help and fast answers. So on your next trip, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, how about right now? Pick up your phone and call SmartFares, plus save up to 75% on your plane reservation. So call right now. 800-915-2644. 800-915-2644. 800-915-2644. 800-915-2644.
You order a glass of your favorite Cabernet, fresh asparagus, hollandaise on the side, a filet, medium rare. You unfurl your napkin with a flair, close your eyes, and prepare to listen. Ah, there it is. The sweet music you long to hear. The sizzle. The sizzle of a Ruth's Chris steak.
The most magnificent corn-fed prime beef, broiled to perfection at 1,800 degrees. Some call it a sizzle. We call it an anthem.
As the waiter approaches, you think, is this one mine or that one?
Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Like Ruth always said, life's too short to eat anywhere else.
Make a reservation online at ruthschris.com or by calling 800-544-0808.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Ken Jeffries and not our millennial correspondent Connor Oakes, because he's AWOL this week. So we're talking about the strike by teachers in Los Angeles, but before we get back to that, because we love to talk about stupid people, it's time for our feature, Moron of the Week. What we do is we have two allegedly stupid people each week, and then we vote at the end of the show on who the stupidest of them all is. So here's the first candidate, Ken, and let me know what you think about it. It's the organizers of the California Women's March. Now, I don't have anything against Women's March. Fine. You want to march for women's rights? So they're up in Humboldt County, California. But they've canceled their march. It was going to be on January 19. And you know why they've canceled the march? Because they're concerned that its participants, so far the people have signed up, are overwhelmingly white. Too many white people in the California Women's March. Lacks representation from several perspectives in our community, according to a post they put on their Facebook page. Instead of pushing forward with crucial voices absent, the organizing team will take more time for outreach. Could they have had a march, regardless of the racial makeup?
They could have. There are also allegations, quite frankly, of anti-Semitism in that, too. And it's among some of the leaders and supposedly the so-called leaders have been slow to disavow themselves of that. And
exactly right. And by the way, Humboldt County is more than 70% non-Hispanic white, so maybe that's an explanation
of why. Yeah.
Anyway. The October March of this organization drew 100,000 people to Grant Park in Chicago, and the leadership of Women's March, Inc. has been roiled in controversy over its ties to Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan, and claims of anti-Semitism. So this is our first candidate.
Yeah, one of the leaders had a picture of her buddying up more or less to Farrakhan. I saw that, and
pretty distressing. So they're candidate number one. We'll get their competition a little later in the show. So we're talking about the planned strike by the Los Angeles teachers that may happen on January 10. And we started to talk actually about something that you were interested in, namely the charter and voucher.
Yeah, this was a side note when I beg your pardon, my wife went out in 1989. That was the last strike. And as she says, she walked the line in 89.
It's like Johnny Cash.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. And Folsom Prison. No, she didn't go to Folsom Prison. But in any event, charters were not an issue then. They are now.
Right.
And charters also, the union will argue that charters take away students, from the public school system. And the way the funding works, if I have this right, is the state pays the district X number of dollars for every pupil in attendance every day.
Right.
In a public school. I'm not sure if charters count. So the charters are taking away students. The other thing is charters. It's my understanding that the charters can pick and choose what students they want. If there's a problem child in there, charters kick them right back to public school.
Well, it's an interesting debate.
An issue.
It's an interesting debate because some people say that the education folks are getting in the regular L.A. city schools, not the charters, there are problems there. For example, again, Austin Butner, the L.A. Times publisher, was hired to turn things around for the district. 22% of fourth graders in L.A. score proficient in math on the National Assessment of Educational Progress Tests, and that's less than the 30% average among other large city school districts around the country. So 22% for our fourth graders, but 30% are proficient in math around the country, other big cities. Also, there's a chasm between whites and minorities. 14% of Latinos were rated proficient, compared with 61% of whites. Now then you go to charter schools, which have 150,000 students throughout the LA district. That provides low-income parents an escape valve, according to this editorial by the Wall Street Journal. But they say tens of thousands of students remain on waiting lists, and many families are moving to nearby districts with better public schools. The result is district-run schools have lost 250,000 students over the last 15 years and 55,000 students since 2013 alone. So the district has a simple math problem. State funding, as you pointed out, is tied to enrollment, which is shrinking. In 2012, when stocks and capital gains were going up, California voters approved a tax hike on high earners. The state's spending per pupil has increased by 65% since then, letting the LA Unified School District avoid tough financial decisions, and even gave teachers a 10% raise in 2015. The district has built a $2 billion reserve, but the district is now burning through cash so fast it could become insolvent in 3 years.
Yeah, the operative word there, I read the article too, and it burning through like it's like it's a
spending money like drunken sailors. Is the implication? Yeah. So the county has warned last fall of a possible takeover. If a district runs large deficits, and again, I didn't realize this, state law requires counties to intervene.
To take over. There's a county board of education. Yeah. They did it in Compton years ago.
So then Alex Caputo-Pearl is the president of the union. He is pushing the district to increase spending by hundreds of millions of dollars annually in a new collective bargaining agreement. He wants a 6.5% raise, reduced class sizes, additional support staff, and he wants to lobby state lawmakers to limit charter school growth. So that's the fight. The district says we're out of money, or we're going to be out of money soon.
They got $1.9 billion in reserve, according to the union.
So we'll watch Stephanie on Vice this Thursday. We'll be back on the Royal Oak Show.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show. You're experiencing pain, back pain, shoulder, elbow, or hand pain, pain from a sports injury. If so, schedule a visit with Dr. Michael Sheps, the leading expert in laser therapy for pain management. Call 310-873-4422 or go to drsheps.com. Experience Epic T, the breakthrough laser therapy system that Dr. Sheps developed to make you pain-free in less time. Laser therapy is a non-invasive, safe, and effective in-office procedure that penetrates deep into your skin without damaging the tissue. It perfectly targets areas of pain to promote fast, natural healing. Relax your muscles, ease muscle spasms, joint stiffness, and arthritis pain while increasing blood circulation. For over 25 years, Dr. Sheps has helped Olympic athletes and sports enthusiasts alike get back in the game. Schedule your visit with Dr. Sheps at his Brentwood office in California. Call 310-873-4422 or visit drsheps.com. That's DRSHEPS.com, 310-873-4422. Hi, everybody. Michael Horn from CRNTalk.com. You know, we provide you with the best in talk radio. 8 channels of talk radio, from radio on the left, radio on the right, sports talk, business talk, religious talk, Spanish talk, you name it, we've got talk radio for you. All at CRNTalk.com. Well, now we'll bring you video as well as audio. That's right. Watch your favorite shows like The Robert Conrad Show, The Fred Dreyer Program, What's Cooking Today, What's Cooking on Wine, The Lounge, and so many other shows in video right at our website, crntalk.com. You can also watch us on Roku. Just search CRN Talk, and you can watch us on Roku on any TV anywhere in the world. Also on Facebook Live. Go to facebook.com/CRN Digital Talk. Facebook.com/CRN Digital Talk. Roku, search CRN Talk. Check us out on Tiki Live and at crntalk.com. Video for you talk fans, all from CRN Talk.
Do you want to fly somewhere, anywhere in the world? Smart travelers call myflightsearch.com for the best deals on flight tickets. Going to Manila, Bangkok, London, how about Singapore? Call myflightsearch.com for the lowest flight tickets available. What about a local vacation? Let's say you want to fly to Vegas, Orlando, Miami, Los Angeles, or Denver. Pick up the phone and call myflightsearch.com right now. We have exclusive deals that you can't find anywhere else. The only way you can get these low airline prices is by calling us. We have so many low prices available, we can't possibly tell them to you right here and now. If you're flying somewhere anytime in the next 6 months and you want the lowest airline ticket prices anywhere, you owe it to yourself to save a ton of money. So pick up your cell phone and call myflightsearch.com right now.
Call 800-445-3166. 800-445-3166. That's 800-445-3166. Call now. 800-445-3166.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Welcome back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Ken Jeffries. So,
not the happiest girl in the whole USA.
Donna Fargo.
Yes.
Gosh, our other feature besides Moron of the Week is Guess the Verdict.
Guess the Verdict.
So we've got an interesting case. We're going to see if Ken can guess the outcome of this one.
Okay.
This is called Turnage versus Christie Brothers Circus. It's not brand new. A woman named Tina Turnage was enjoying herself.
I remember the Ike and Tina Turnage review, as a matter of fact, and Proud Mary and all that stuff. Yeah.
So she's seated in the front row watching the circus, and during the show, a horse, which was going through a dancing performance immediately in front of where the plaintiff was sitting. You know that it's got an unhappy ending when she's identified as the plaintiff. So the horse is backing toward the plaintiff. This horse horse is able to actually walk backwards. You know, if you're a really smart horse, you can do that. At this point, however, the horse evacuated his bowels into her lap. This occurred in full view of many people. It was a well-attended circus, Ken, all of whom laughed at the occurrence. Can you imagine? Not one person said, that's a shame.
Well, I think that's a bunch of horse bleep, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So as a result, plaintiff was caused much embarrassment, mortification, and mental pain and suffering. There's probably a dry cleaning bill as well involved.
Oh, my God.
So Ms. Turnage sues Christie Brothers Circus. Ken Jeffries, prognosticator, guesser of all lawsuits.
Does she have a case? Well,
does she have a case?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the judge could say the horses do what the horses do. And you know what? I don't think she does, because when you buy a ticket, does it say on the ticket, you are? It's like when you go to a ball game, right? You're responsible for all the batted ball. You know, if you get hit by a baseball or a bat, you assume the risk. So if it said it on the ticket, then the circus wins.
Theoretically, that you make a logical case. In fact, she won. I guess the judge just or the jury they felt sorry for her. But it's funny you mentioned the business about the assumption of the risk, because I remember in law school we learned about a case involving.
She won. So she won the case.
Yes, she won the case.
That's interesting.
In law school, we learned about how when you show up at a baseball game, like in Los Angeles, and you get hit by a foul ball, then the assumption of risk doctrine applies. You say, hey, my brain was caved in.
I had a brain when I walked in here.
And now I don't, and so I'd like $100,000, please. In general, the answer is sorry, you don't win, because you knew darn well that you.
And it's printed on the back of the ticket.
And it's printed on the back, but even without that, because sometimes judges don't really honor those because it's fine print, and who reads those things, right? But here's the twist. If you have a hockey game, a professional ice hockey game in Los Angeles, and the puck flies through the air and it caves your brain in, you have a case, a much stronger case, because it is not generally known within the population, at least in the Los Angeles area, maybe in the Toronto area. But in L.A., people don't really know that pucks fly like rockets through the air and can hit somebody in the 17th row.
Yeah, there was a case of a girl that was killed. I remember that.
Yeah, you see tragic situations.
Not in L.A., but someplace else. But yeah,
well, for the very first time last year, Major League Baseball parks all around the country uniformly instituted an extension of
the netting.
Yeah,
they did.
So, for example, some friends of ours have some tickets that we use sometimes, and they're about 8 rows back of the Dodger dugout, and basically it's between the on-deck circle and the middle of the dugout. And traditionally, we'd have to really watch because it's on the third base side. So if there's a left-handed batter, man, that thing can come at you real fast. But as of last year, the netting is up, so we never have to worry. I mean, the ball could go high, but it's not going to come at you like a bullet. On the other hand, you have to look at the baseball game through the netting, and so that's a downside for some people. So let's talk marijuana, Ken Jeffries. It seems like there's this tsunami of support for legalization of marijuana. We've got it here in California. What is it? Colorado, Washington, Oregon, a handful of other states. I know New York State.
Well, the old House Speaker is now a marijuana spokesman. What's his name?
Oh, yeah, John Boehner.
John Boehner. Yeah.
He is, I'm sure, getting the big bucks because he is a big spokesman for the cannabis lobby and so on. But there was an article in the New York Times this week about how marijuana is kind of dangerous, and it's not a matter of, well, it's a gateway drug. Pretty soon you're going to be shooting up heroin because you started with marijuana. They're saying that there are links to violence and mental illness. They say about 15% of Americans used marijuana at least once in 2017. We have the full year stats, and that's up 10% from the year 2006. By contrast, 70% of Americans had an alcoholic drink in the last year. So you think, well, 70% drank, but only 15% used cannabis. But the number of Americans who smoke dope is soaring. In 2006, 3 million Americans reported using marijuana 300 times a year. So that's 3 million Americans, about once a day. By 2017, that number had increased to 8 million. So now we have almost 3 times as many, 8 million people smoking dope about once a day, approaching the 12 million Americans who drink every day. So we've gone from a huge disparity between alcohol and marijuana to roughly the same in terms of daily consumers. The problem is, cannabis is far more potent than ever before. In the 1970s, marijuana marijuana contained about 2% of THC, the active ingredient that knocks you on your butt. Today, marijuana routinely contains 25% THC. That is a 10 to 12% increase, thanks to sophisticated farming and cloning techniques. Now, I don't know what they mean by that. Cloning techniques, is that like copies of Cheech and Chong movies?
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's a bigger deal. So here we come to the bad news. Research from Finland and Denmark show a significant increase in psychosis since 2000 following a heavy increase in cannabis use. A rise in serious mental illness in the U.S. as well. In 2017, 7.5% of young adults met the criteria for serious mental illness, double the rate in 2008. Now, psychosis is a loss of contact with reality. It's delusions, it's hallucinations, it's incoherent speech, it's depression, anxiety, sleep problems. All of those things are associated. So it sounds really scary. Psychosis has a high risk factor for violence. Much of the violence occurs when psychotic people are using drugs. And as long as people with schizophrenia are avoiding recreational drugs, they are only moderately more likely to be violent than you or I, namely mentally healthy people. But when the schizophrenics use drugs, the risk of violence skyrockets. And guess what drugs schizophrenics generally use? Yes, it's cannabis. It causes paranoia. And of course, there's a running joke in our cultural meme about paranoia when you're smoking dope. But for people with psychotic disorders, it's not such a joke, because paranoia can fuel extreme violence. There was a 2007 paper in the medical journal in Australia. Isn't this good news? They looked at 88 defendants who had committed homicide during psychotic episodes. It found most of the killers believed they were in danger from the victim, and 2/3 were smoking marijuana at the time. There was a 2012 paper in the Journal of Interpersonal Violence examining a federal survey of more than 9,000 adolescents. They found marijuana use was associated with a doubling of domestic violence in the United States. Some advocates are claiming that legalization has reduced violent crime. Cory Booker, better known as Spartacus, said that federal legislation should be implemented getting rid of the laws against marijuana. He said states are seeing decreases in violent crime. According to the New York Times article, he is wrong. In the first 4 states to legalize marijuana for recreational use, Colorado and Washington, Alaska and Oregon, combined, these states had about 450 murders and 30,000 assaults in 2013. Move forward to 2017, 620 murders, 38,000 aggravated assaults, an increase far greater than the national average.
Well, I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to put the genie back in the bottle? I mean, it's we're going to see prohibition again, this kind of
Well, I guess one question is, do you continue the trend of legalizing in many more states? Because right now, we've got only a handful of states. And I mean, I know you followed in New York. I'm surprised, why hasn't New York fallen in line with the trend?
I think they're going to. I think I started reading about they're going to. That's right, they haven't done it. Right, it's still illegal in New York, isn't it?
You know, I think it's similar to this e-cigarette thing. And I have to say, I consider myself to be totally wrong about this. When I first heard about e-cigarettes, I thought, yippee! Who knows how many countless thousands of lives this is going to save? Because let's face it, they can study it, and they're going to find maybe there's some little health problem with e-cigarettes, but it's going to be minute compared to the giant pile of health problems from regular cigarette smoking. And if people can get their nicotine hit and ease away from actually smoking and using the e-cigarette, why not do it? And yet everybody treats it just as badly as we treat cigarettes. You can't smoke it on a plane, or you can't vape on a plane.
Vaping.
You can't vape in hotels.
Why not?
And restaurants.
I'm not sure if I understand that.
I think it's because they associate it with smoking. It's too close to smoking, and we don't know exactly what the health hazards of vaping are. But again, let's face it, they're going to be a tiny, minute fraction. But here's the problem, and this ties into our marijuana discussion. The problem with vaping, as we're seeing from a lot of reports in the general media lately, is that kids 12, 14, 16 are just going nuts for vaping. It's so easy to conceal it. You put it in the purse or the pocket and so on. They get the hit. There have been articles about how kids have really gone big time for their nicotine addiction. They absolutely have to have it multiple times a day, and it's easy to do it. It's, you know, people can see the vapor if they happen to be in the same room.
Well, does e-cigarettes contain nicotine? I have no idea if they do or not.
Absolutely, they do. And so here's the deal with e-cigarettes. all they have is the nicotine. It's compressed nicotine, and it's heated up, and so it's turned into a vapor. You inhale it, you get the buzz from the nicotine that you would get from a drag on a cigarette, but you don't have the tar, you don't have the smoke, you don't have the flame, so you don't have all the cancer that you're getting from the cigarette, but you are getting hooked on nicotine. And so now what we don't know is what is the public health hazard of lots and lots of millions of young people, 12, 14, 16, getting hooked on nicotine. So then when they become 18, 20, and 21, are they going to stick with the vaping, or are they going to say, you know, that's a little freaky, I'm going to fire up a Camel unfiltered? And if that happens, and then you actually increase the percentage of smokers. I mean, we have seen a fabulous drop in the percentage of smokers in America from about 37, 38%, 60, 70 years ago when, you know, Clark Gable and everybody smoked constantly on screen, to down to about 15, 14% now. Unlike China and a bunch of other countries in the world where it's still big time, it's still like 40% and they're dropping dead of cancer left and right. In America, we've really made terrific progress. And the question people are asking is the e-cigarette trend going to reverse that? Because is it going to represent essentially a public health crisis? So who knows? More to come.
I think I'm not sure who Trump's president's attorney general. Yeah, I don't know who the attorney general is either.
Well, he wants William Barr to get the job.
The surgeon general.
Oh,
I think declared vaping.
It's not Ben.
Was it vaping public health nuisance or something like that? Or I thought it was vaping, but.
Well, I'm sure that the attorney, I'm doing it too. I'm sure the Surgeon General is going to look into it, but who knows how far they've really gotten in the whole process. So let's talk impeachment, because I mean, it's the word. If you try to figure out the most commonly used word on the internet these days, it's probably going to be impeachment. And I thought it was interesting, didn't you, Ken, that the new Congress lady from Michigan, I think, Tlaib is her name.
Yeah,
I think she's the.
If that's, I'm not sure how you pronounce it yet, but
she's a big critic of Donald Trump. And for those of you who didn't, the three of you in the continent of North America who didn't hear about her comment about Donald Trump, here it is. She's speaking 2 nights ago to MoveOn.org, a very progressive organization. And so she's just been elected to Congress. And she's given a little speech, and she's saying, yeah, I was talking to my little daughter. Was it a 5-year-old daughter or a 6-year-old?
I thought she said son. Well, I'm not sure.
Very small child. So she's got a very small child. And she says to the crowd, yeah, I was talking to my very small child, and we were having this conversation, and I think it was a girl. We'll call her a girl. And the daughter says, Mommy, you won. You won. It's so great. You beat the bullies. Because obviously the daughter had been told that Trump was a bully. And the mom says, yes, we beat the bullies, and now we're going to impeach the mother blanker. Only she didn't say blank. And so she used the actual word to the crowd. And so essentially she's saying, I'm talking to my child, and I'm using that kind of language.
I know.
So Nancy Pelosi is asked, I think she was on CNN, maybe it was NBC News, and Nancy Pelosi is asked, what did you think of this language that was used by your new colleague in the House of Representatives? Well, of course Nancy would condemn language like that, wouldn't she? Oh, wait, no. No, she said, well, no, my job is not to censor people, and Donald Trump has hurt a lot of folks, and so, no, I'm not going to make any negative comment about that. Wasn't that swell?
Well, you know, what's she going to...
She could say it's inappropriate for that kind of language to be used to a little girl, to the group. And here's my problem with the language. It's not the language itself. I mean, Ken, let's face it, you turn cable on.
And it's not an issue that Trump has used much worse and all of that.
Oh, I'm sure he has.
Publicly.
He hasn't, I don't think he does it. If he's done it publicly, then he shouldn't either. But here's my other problem, and it doesn't have to do with a political issue so much, or even a language issue, because, again, you turn cable on, and you're going to hear exactly that language and a whole lot worse.
Well, sometimes, and you shouldn't. I mean, that's
shouldn't,
true.
But here's my problem with what the mom did in talking to, let's say, a 7-year-old daughter this way. It sounds to me a whole lot like what we know Arab parents in the Middle East say to their children about Israelis. They are told from the time they are 1 and 2 and 3, these people don't deserve to live. These people should be killed. Your Cousin the Suicide Bomber was really terrific. They inculcate hatred in people from the cradle on.
That might be.
They don't give the opportunity to kids to listen to the arguments, and of course you give your view and you show the kid your bias, but to actually build the hate in, to bake it into the cake in that way, that to me is scarily like the passion and the violent threats that you see in the Middle East, as opposed to what we think of in America as being an open society and let's have critical thinking.
Can I say something about
Absolutely.
that?
I'm through with my rant.
No, but I think she is from the Detroit area and is near Dearborn. I think there's a large concentration of Arabs. She might be Arab.
She is Muslim. She is the second Muslim woman elected to the United States Congress.
The issue with the language, I wish she shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, whatever her religion is, I'm not criticizing her religion. I'm not criticizing her politics. I guess what I'm really criticizing is for her to display such anger in such a vulgar way to a small child. It smacks to me of the kind of people who are so passionate about their view and are so prone to violence that they're raising children to be violent. Yeah. So it's kind of scary. When we come back, we're going to talk about the congressional investigations of Donald Trump that could lead to impeachment.
We'll be back on CRN with the Royal Oak Show. Hi, everybody. Michael Horn from CRNTalk.com. We provide you with the best in talk radio. 8 channels of talk radio, from radio on the left, radio on the right, sports talk, business talk, religious talk, Spanish talk, you name it, we've got talk radio for you. All at CRNTalk.com. Well, now we'll bring you video as well as audio. That's right. Watch your favorite shows like The Robert Conrad Show, The Fred Dreyer Program, What's Cooking Today, What's Cooking on Wine, The Lounge, and so many other shows in video right at our website, CRNTalk.com. You can also watch us on Roku. Just search CRN Talk, and you can watch us on Roku on any TV anywhere in the world. Also on Facebook Live. Go to Facebook.com/CRN Digital Talk. Facebook.com/CRN Digital Talk. Roku, search CRN Talk. Check us out on Tiki Live and at CRNTalk.com. Video for you talk fans, all from CRN Talk.
Do you want to fly somewhere, anywhere in the world? Smart travelers call myflightsearch.com for the best deals on flight tickets. Going to Manila, Bangkok, London, how about Singapore? Call myflightsearch.com for the lowest flight tickets available. What about a local vacation? Let's say you want to fly to Vegas, Orlando, Miami, Los Angeles, or Denver. Pick up the phone and call myflightsearch.com right now. We have exclusive deals that you can't find anywhere else. The only way you can get these low airline prices is by calling us. We have so many low prices available, we can't possibly tell them to you right here and now. If you're flying somewhere anytime in the next 6 months and you want the lowest airline ticket prices anywhere, you owe it to yourself to save a ton of money. So pick up your cell phone and call myflightsearch.com right now.
Call 800-445-3166. 800-445-3166. That's 800-445-3166. Call now. 800-445-3166.
Come to Angelo's and Vinci's to see the memorabilia of movie stars and theatrical magic right in downtown Fullerton, California. See the art of the masters. An Italian town square complete with storefronts of old Italian butchers and cheesemongers, fruit and wine vendors, seamstresses showing their wares, fairy lights from cathedral ceilings, and our ancestors smiling down at you from the family love altar. The romance of Romeo and Juliet, and find the mystical room of the moon. And don't forget King Kong, Dracula, Frankenstein, and who knows what awaits you in the wine cellar. Enjoy the great food. We hand stuff our pastas, roll each and every tortellini, bake our own bread, make our own sauces fresh from our private stock of Sicilian family recipes. From pasta to seafood, chicken to award-winning pizzas, tiramisu flown in from Rome. If you can't find something on our menu to tempt you, you don't like Italian food. Try our Sunday brunch, just $18.95, and Angelo's and Vinci's has been named 2 years in a row Best Italian Restaurant in Orange County. Angelo's and Vinci's Restaurant at 550 North Harbor Boulevard in Fullerton, California. Call 714-879-4022.
Back to the Royal Oak Show with our co-host Ken Jeffries,
Chairman of the board.
So that doesn't come until like 2/3 of the way through the song. The little noise. Do you know where you got that noise?
The guy does a little. in there or something.
Yeah, I guess he just made it up himself. So, moron of the week. We've got one candidate on the board already. The California Women's March organizers, they canceled their march because too many white people were signed up.
Yeah.
It seems weird. So here's the competition. This is the mom who was the deadbeat mom who won't pay for the babysitter. Did you hear about this story this week?
No, I don't think so.
So this is the mom agrees by text to $16 an hour. And so the babysitter takes the kids all day, like 3 kids all over the place. And so the mom, babysitter asks for payment, and the mom then texts, I wasn't aware payment was involved. You got free ice cream and a day of fun. I'm sorry for the misinterpretation. Misrepresentation is more like it. And the babysitter replies, we discussed payment of $16 an hour. We have it by text. And so the mom then gets a little bit angry, and she says, you seem to be, you're acting kind of stuck up, aren't you? Can we compromise at $20? And the babysitter says, no, it was $16 an hour. That's $128. And the mom says, I'm not paying you $128 for a single day. They're easy kids. Then the mom calls her the C word and says, I'm blocking you now. Please do not contact me again. A lot of people on the internet are saying, take mom to small claims court. So who's the biggest moron of the week, Ken? Is it the deadbeat mom, or is it the Women's March organizers?
Well, that's like an apples and oranges coming.
They're moronic in different ways.
All right, I'll say the deadbeat mom.
I like that choice as well, but they're both moronic.
Yeah, well, that's another story. We'll give them both awards. All right, they both win. Everybody wins.
So impeachment, Brad Sherman, my pal from UCLA, he's a California Democrat, he plans to reintroduce articles of impeachment against Trump. That's the interesting part. He did it already in 2017, way before any of the stuff that came out in the last year. And he said yesterday, I didn't do this as some political move. Right. I'm not sure I believe that. Do you think that maybe the Democrats are overplaying their hand because when Maxine Waters talks about, impeach, and when the lady says, let's impeach the mother blanker, and now Brad, when the evidence does come forward...
Wait till Mueller opens his mouth.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Don't bother with this impeachment.
I think that makes a little more sense.
Not yet.
But, 2019 is going to be a rough year for Donald Trump because you've got 5 chairs of House of Representative committees that are really motivated to go after Trump. Jerry Nadler is head of the Judiciary Committee. He also has jurisdiction over immigration. And Trump has called Nadler several years ago one of the most egregious hacks in contemporary politics. You don't want to pick a fight with people who buy ink by the barrel, and you don't want to pick a fight as president with a guy who's the chairman of the Judiciary Committee.
Can they get his taxes?
I don't know. Legally, they're going to try. They're going to try. I don't know if there's a legal basis for it. Nadler says that Trump being implicated in Michael Cohen's crimes, he says these are impeachable offenses, so that's not good news for Trump. Then there's Adam Schiff, incoming chairman of the Intelligence Committee. Once again, Trump is not on good terms with these people. He has called him sleazy Adam Schiff, little Adam Schiff with 2 Ds, little Adam Schiff with 2 Ts, and he wants to investigate questions about Russian money laundering. So it's going to be a very, very rough year. Oh, and let's not forget, Ken, Maxine Waters, big fan of the president. Oh, big fan.
Yeah.
She is also chair of a committee in the House of Representatives, the Financial Services Committee. She is probing the finances of Trump and the Trump Organization. And you remember what Trump said about Nancy, a low IQ person. If you had to put money on it, Ken Jeffries, impeachment by the Democrats in 2019, yes or no?
No.
No?
Right now.
I think it's such low-hanging fruit. They've already got the obstruction of justice. I think they're going to be unable to resist, just like the Republicans couldn't resist going after Clinton.
Okay, maybe. Okay, yes.
We'll switch it to a maybe. Hey, folks, have a great week. See you next time on The Royal Oak Show.